about a minute. I believe we got a minute. We're going to go ahead and go live so that we can make sure everything's working.
On television.
On television.
That's probably is my still if you don't have it set just right on the computer. Just one of these.
At meeting.
Almost showdown.
I got a picture there.
That's a good picture.
Ready?
Yes, sir.
Let's bring this meeting to order. Roll call.
Commissioner Morton?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Bordeaux?
Here.
Commissioner Fowler?
Here.
Commissioner Moore?
Here.
Mayor Blair?
Here. Let's bow for invocation. Dear God, our Father in heaven, once again we're thankful, grateful for your many blessings upon us and also upon our town. Lord, as we conduct business for the town tonight, we pray that we'll be mindful of the interest of our town, the best interest of the town in all our decisions and discussions, not our personal agendas. We pray these blessings and favors in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen.
First item on the agenda is comments from attendees.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. We have a couple of people that wish to address the board that's popped up over the past. I'm sorry. Oh,
Yeah, adoption of the agenda first. May I have a motion? I'll make the motion. Have a second? No. All in favor? Okay. Next item is comments from attendees.
sure. And again, Mr. Mayor, over the past couple of days, we've had a few people pop up that wish to bring some action items to the Board of Commissioners this evening. I want to get started with Miss Lisa Fulbright Johnson. She's here tonight. She and I met about an hour or so ago, and then about a week ago about an issue that she has been having at her residence at 50A Ranlo Avenue. And Ms. Johnson, please correct me if I'm wrong if I start talking. Over the past few months, Ms. Johnson has had a leak at the residence. The leak's gotten a little bit out of control. Over the past couple of billing cycles, there's been incredibly large sums that have been posted to her account. Something along the tune of about $1,000 per month that's been coming to her account with a reading. Last week, Public Works went out, assessed the situation to see what was going on. There was clearly a leak. We went out there. Jason, Mr. Jose Cruz, and myself went out there. When they would flush the toilet, when it would fill up, it would keep spinning. So it was indicating that there was a bad flap or an issue with the toilet. Ms. Johnson went and had the issue resolved. They put in a new flapper, put in new parts inside the commode to ensure that everything was in working order. Public Works checked it out today, believed that the leak has been fixed, but that still leaves quite a large sum of money on the account. I had Ms. Price calculate what an average bill would be over the past 3 months, taking into account the adjustment for the account. That amount equaled $492.45 with the adjustment. I spoke to Ms. Johnson earlier today, and she indicated that she could pay the $140, which would be the amount that was due under the agreement that she reached to try to make payment plans on it. But with the situation as out of hand as it is, with the sums as large as they are, I wanted Ms. Johnson to come here tonight to see what we could do for her. I do have a proposal. Back in 2011, 2013, the board voted for a one-time forgiveness for homeowners who had large leaks. Her upcoming bill is right at $1,000. That does not take into consideration the last 3 months worth of large usages. So that $492.45 does not cover the amount that's going to be billed next week. I would request the board, if it's okay with Ms. Johnson, to okay moving forward with a one-time forgiveness for next month's bill. Now that the issue has been resolved, we feel as though it's been resolved and there won't be any problems going forward. In regards to the $492.45, about an hour ago, I had a discussion with Chief Lunsford. We had a very generous offer today from Randy Thomason's widow. She came up and wanted to make a donation to the town of Ranlo. Chief spoke to her and told her that we really don't accept donations to the town itself. Chief come and asked me about it, and I said, well, if you wouldn't mind asking her if she would be interested in helping someone that's having a difficult time with their utility bill. Mrs. Thompson brought up a check made out to the town of Ranlo just a while ago for $500. That $500 would cover the $492 that Ms. Johnson would currently be billed for if we do an adjustment for this account. And then if the board is agreeable, we can move forward with that one-time forgiveness. So the only thing Ms. Johnson would owe, if the board approves it, would be that $140, and that would put you at a blank slate with the donation from Mrs. Thomason. So that's what we have here tonight. On behalf of Ms. Johnson, is there anything else that I missed or you guys would like to say?
Can I ask about why you moved the water meter? Because from what I can gather about it, that water meter, once it was moved, that was when the problem started with the big bills.
Right.
And they were told, my partner was told, there was a kink in it, which is why they didn't put it back exactly where it was. It used to be on the sidewalk,
Sure.
now it's in the garden.
Right.
Yeah.
In the yard, yeah. I looked into that this week. I spoke to Public Works Director. They went out and assessed. They checked the meter to make sure there was no issues. The reason they moved it from the sidewalk to the yard is because it was an older meter, and we're looking at doing some water line
So there's no kink in it?
No, ma'am. Not that they were able to detect when we went out there last week and this week. The issue with moving it back is those those meters are so dated that when they were originally installed, they were installed where the sidewalks are now. So we've been trying, as each one goes bad or there's an issue, to move them into the homeowner's yard. So the issue is that when it went bad, they moved it in the yard because we're going to be doing some water line rehabilitation and some sidewalk renovations, and we didn't want there to be any issue. But that line is dead. It's not connected to the new meter. There's no issues. It's a completely dead line from there forward. But if the board is agreeable and we do move forward, there will be a zero balance after the $140 is paid. The donation from Mrs. Thomason towards the account will go to clear up your account, and that should resolve any issues. Utilizing that one-time forgiveness that the board talked about, with that being a one-time forgiveness. If there's any issues in the future, that of course won't be an option. Yes, ma'am.
So the $492 is for 3 months?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. That does not take into consideration the latest bill that's going to be generated next week of $1,072.94. That is an average of a $1,035, $1,040, $1,090, and some odd cents going back, taking those out of the equation and equating 3 months worth with a sewer adjustment.
Public Works verified that it's not spending when there's no use.
CJ was just out there and the meter was not spinning.
That's why you filled out the 4-5.
Yes, sir. That's right.
I make a motion, we do the one-time forgiveness and accept the donation to the president pay.
I'll second that.
All in favor? So carried. Right. Any other? Anybody else signed up?
Yeah, one more, Mr. Mayor. We have Charles McGinnis here this evening with Trevor Michaelis. He is working on his Eagle Scout project, and I've been talking with Mr. McGinnis over the past few days about a potential project here in Ranlo. He submitted to me within the past couple of days a proposal, and I will certainly defer to them to talk a little more in detail about it. But essentially, it's a sensory garden for veterans where they're looking at building a solar-powered fountain and also installing 6 flagpoles indicating each branch of service in the American flag, benches, a mulched garden, and putting that somewhere here in Ranlo. We've been talking about it the past couple of days. I would certainly defer to Mr. McGinnis or Trevor if they would like to discuss the project with the board tonight or entertain any questions, ideas, or comments from the board. And I have a copy if you guys would like to see what we're looking at. Anyway.
I'll start off.
You want to come up here and stand at the podium?
I'll start off. I live here in Gaston County, grew up here my entire life. Grandfather was interim city manager here years ago. We've been around since about 1892. Went off of Red Run, Mount Holly, just to give you a little background on this. I was past post commander, All-American State, post commander for Veterans Foreign Wars, Gaston County. Many of y'all track the Gaston County public press release they sent out about a month ago. I secured a $100,000 grant through Gaston County. We use that money to pay for veterans that are homeless, becoming homeless, or need help with any of their utilities and stuff. First of each month, I take all the original bills to Bill Setzer or Matt Rottner, Kim Eagle, give them the bills. I do the paying, I'm basically the middle person, I handle the money and all of that. So I've got that on board. My son's in Troop 503, Trevor McCandless is doing an Eagle Scout project. Ultimately, we was going to do it at the VFW, but one of the big requirements is it has to be, correct me if I'm wrong, Trevor, it has to be public viewable and public accessible on public property. So VFW is not public property. So I spoke with Jonathan about it. It's roughly 25 foot in diameter or square.
22 by 22 feet.
Okay. It'll be a concrete fountain in the center, be solar powered with water. Jonathan has the what I call the footprint, the engineering design. It tells you the breakdown. Level the dirt out. It'll be sand, pea gravel, paver stone. So a veteran or whoever, if they're in a walker or a wheelchair, they can access it at the level. We'll have 6 park benches around it. It'll also have shrubbery, flowers, mulching. If any of y'all dealt with any of the Eagle Scout projects in Gaston County, you know they don't spare much at all. They move it to the best of their ability. Last project we did last month was at the Green Lakes, City Gastonia Police Department. We put the mile markers and the information boards up. It's no charge at all for Ranlo. Only we asked that we put it at one of the 2 part, or this part, or what do they call it?
Yeah, we talked about multiple options and alternatives for placing the project. We talked about potentially the lodge. We discussed potentially the walking track right in the center there. That may be a nice addition there, or even possibly utilizing one of the other 2 parks, but those are currently tied up with some of the grant funding that we're getting. So I wouldn't want to start any project and then to have to come back and have to do any type of removal of that. So potentially the lodge, potentially the walking track. The walking track may be best, but certainly would defer to the opinion, judgment, and ideas that you guys may have on the placement of it.
I wonder how easy it would be for people in wheelchairs to get down to the walking track. That's my only concern.
Right.
That would be the more ideal location. If we can put some way for them to get down and make it accessible, then we can that would be
Sure. And I hope that within the next few months we'll have plans for ADA accessibility for this park, Park Street Park, and part of that could be connectivity to the track. Because we are going to be we are undertaking the preliminary studies of making sure that we have what we need in order to get the park at the ADA accessibility, putting pavers in there, so a direct connection from the park to the community building to the monument fountain may be a good path forward to have Ms. McGinnis and Trevor to work on the project, because it has to be completed by October 20th. So that could be a good segue into the renovations and to the upfitting that I'm going to do at the park. I hope to start that once the splash pad closes Labor Day or mid-September. So that may be an option to consider.
I also wonder if it wouldn't be prudent for us to then put the Veterans Memorial that we're planning on in a location very near that.
Sure, absolutely. And I spoke with the monument company just this week. They had given me a rough quote of around $8,000. I'm still waiting on a timeline, how quickly they can turn it around. He was making a few calls to see, because if you recall, we talked about one particular design that was going to be December, Christmas, before we were able to get it. So if something that would be able to be delivered sooner than that is possible, that would be a very good complement to the project that the Scouts are proposing tonight.
We're not
I have 2 questions. I guess, does the project have the lighting, required lighting for the flags and stuff? Or is something we would need to do?
for the flags.
Yeah.
It'd be solar lights.
With solar lights? And then, second question, let's let me come back to it. Go ahead.
We're not asking Ranlo for any money. We're honestly just asking for other places we can build it. That's our biggest thing. We're scrambling trying to find a place.
Sure. And I would recommend too, I know you guys want to install 6 flagpoles. That's correct?
correction, it's one flagpole that can fly 6 flags.
One flag, okay. Okay, wonderful. The only thing I would like to see, and if the town needs to partner with you guys, I would recommend and ask the board to consider to ensure that it's an appropriately sized flagpole and that it's up to specs and up to standards, similar to what we have here, and making sure that it's secured so that no one can lower or tamper with it in any manner.
I can help y'all with that. If y'all are wondering, I'm still in the military, so that's why I'm in uniform. I've been on duty dealing with a bunch of stuff today also. I got a lot of contact with DOD things. I get a lot of the correct flags from the state, from the Capitol, from Washington, right size flag for the correct size poles.
All right, so, looks like we need a motion to accept his proposal.
I'll make that motion.
We're gonna determine the place as, we work with, Jason Green.
If it's gotta be something you get done by October, or something you start on like very quickly, right?
To be honest, though, yeah.
I make a motion,
Katie's made a
you
motion to
your
accept
motion,
proposal.
put it in the track.
That's fine. You can use your discretion.
Okay.
If there's a better spot than the walking track to put it, then put it there.
Okay. I would think then just a motion to direct me to coordinate with the scouts to move forward with the proposal.
Okay.
I'll
That's
second the
the
motion.
Okay.
Okay.
That's Cordell's.
So carried. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for your interest.
Well, now, here's my question, dedicating, are we gonna dedicate it like a Veterans Day or something we would like to do?
I do not have any plans for that specifically.
Because it'll be right before Veterans.
We can make
Can
some.
can we set something
Sure.
up and then you can come and do the dedication?
Sure.
Perfect.
We'll work something out with.
Sure. That'd be Friday, November the 11th, I believe, is Veterans Day this year.
So if I'm understanding y'all correctly, everybody's in agreement, it's good.
Yes, sir.
Alibi to it. He has some paperwork, I don't know who we need to sign. All that is so I can take that and give that to Gavin, which is over
Okay.
BSA on Franklin, on East Franklin, and give that to him tomorrow, so they can get the wheels in motion. Have a list of beneficiary.
Yes.
This basically shows that he come and he's got the okay to start.
Mhm.
You know, give us the particulars
Sure.
on exactly where we're going.
Right. Myself or the mayor, either one concerned. Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely. Lynn, you want to sign? Do you want to sign it, Lynn? Yeah, Lynn will sign. Mayor here. In the
This is for your, and then there's a beneficial on the same page.
Need my information.
John.
Yes, sir.
That's one other thing that you
Actually,
need
this
to
had
find.
a meeting.
Yeah.
If y'all,
Oh, yeah.
That we need.
if y'all know of any veteran that needs help, that grant, I don't know if Jonathan mentioned it yet or not, I give the paperwork to Brian Holland, runs for the police chief, I've known him for a long time. If you got a veteran that lives in Ranlo, a lot of us hold our pride and we're not gonna speak up, but there's a front page form that, the Ranlo Police Department has. I asked the guys to give out to the patrolmen, to give out to the veterans that live here. If you have a need that needs to have any utilities, what this grant covers is mortgage, lot rent, auto repair, any of your utilities. You just gotta fill out that paper on the front side, and I either gotta have a copy of your DD 214 or an ID or a driver's license. The reason I have to have that, because I have to show that you live in Gaston County. Because it's Gaston County's taxpayers, that's what that 100,000 is. Right now, I've spent about 18,500 out of that 100,000. And I'm still working the process, but so far, everybody at the county is on board. They're looking to do this as a longevity deal, it's gonna continue for a while. I'm still working the particulars with Bill Setzer, the county attorney, but if you have a veteran that you know that lives in town here, or if you have a veteran's spouse that lives in town and the veteran has passed away, they're eligible to fill out for it too. There's no cap on the limit, but we'll help you 2 times in a 12-month period. To give you an example, I paid a gentleman's mortgage yesterday. It was $1,325. So 6 months from yesterday, he can get help one more time in the 12-month period. So if you think about it, you can get with me. I give you my number if you want it. It's 980-406-0130. Again, that's 980-406-0130. Also, the police department has those applications. It's got my name and number on there. If you got one that lives out in the community, give it to them. You don't pay it back or none of that. And if somebody wants to read the contract as public knowledge, they can request it from Gaston County. There's no tricks or gimmicks to it. I worked on this since May 4th last year to get this money finally released. They released it June the 14th this year.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Chuck.
All right, thank you very much. Yeah, we'll get that signed at the end of our meeting. All right, any more comments from attendees? Nothing else? Okay.
I don't have anything, Mr. Mayor. No.
All right, next item is approval of the July Board of Commissioners monthly meeting minutes. Have a motion? Have a second? All in favor? So carried. Next item is old business, continued recreation discussion.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have been working over the past couple months on Milltown, I'm sorry, not Milltown, but the festival that's coming up in September 16th and 17th. We'll be having our festival. We've coordinated with the Carnival Company. They are on board with being here. There have been a couple of glitches, the first being that the proprietor of the amusement company has indicated that he will not be honoring any advance sale of tickets, that he will only be honoring tickets that are sold at the gate. In the past, there's been discounted tickets that the town has printed and sold that have been honored at the day of, but the owner of the company is indicating he has stopped doing that and will not be honoring those this year. That's really the only major issue that we've had. He will be here on September 16th, 17th with $20 at the gate passes for the entire duration of the evening. So that is an increase from year prior, but I did confirm with him that was the practice and the rules that he was going to be implementing this year. Secondly, I have been coordinating with vendors for the event. We have Tony T's on the docket for being here. He's been here in years past. We've made a great effort to try to solicit and recruit vendors. We posted on our website on the utility bills for 2 months in a row, posted on our website, Facebook page, and I've directly solicited some applications. We've had difficulty securing some this year. We do, like I said, we do have Tony T's on the docket, but we're going to continue to make a push over the next few weeks. I have this week had a request, correspondence and communication with Cavendish Brewery. Cavendish Brewery was at the Milltown Nights in June. He has submitted interest in being both nights of the festival, as this would be an issue of having alcohol at a town event on town property. That, of course, will be at the board's discretion. I told him that would be up to the board, that we would be in touch after I gauged interest from all of you tonight. That is the first item that I would like for the board to discuss, deliberate, and reach consensus or a vote as to whether we are going to accept the interest from Cavendish, if we're going to accept for both nights, one night, or how the board would like to proceed with that. That's certainly at the discretion of all of you.
So we do have a gospel group on Friday night, is that correct?
Mr. Morton's been working with a gospel group, Heart to Heart, and David, I'm sorry, wait, what's it? David Kaiser. Mr. Morton had Mr. Kaiser send me a proposal for the event. Wade, how much was he saying? $750? Was that?
I think y'all settled on 500, I think.
I believe it was. Let me see.
He
Just
said you can get 750. I think you told me he rounded. You got him. You can do 500. I think. I think he's coming for that. I think.
I was thinking it was a bit more, but it may have been 500. I know that we talked sometime ago.
I make a motion to let the brewery come on Saturday.
On Saturday?
When is the
Friday.
They had submitted a proposal for Friday night to come to the festival, Heart to Heart. And it was between 5 and 700. I thought it was a little more than 5 weight, but it may have been fine. I'll double confirm. But that would be the second item, to set a budget and to approve the lineup itinerary. But Mr. Moore, you were making a motion to allow Cavendish to attend the festival on Saturday night?
Him and any other board.
Sure, because we can't be exclusive of just one. Have a second, Ms. Cordell.
All in favor? All opposed?
3-1. Okay. Okay, and that leads me to the second. The second item is setting a budget. If the board's comfortable with moving forward with Heart to Heart, we would need to set at least a cap on that. And also, if we're interested in moving forward with the DJ, we talked about a DJ last year, and some of the preliminary talks for having them there on Saturday night in lieu of another band. I've spoken to a couple of people, gotten proposals for that. So it would just be a matter of a cap or a budget that you guys would be comfortable for both events. Well, number one, approving Heart to Heart for Friday. Number two, whether there would need to be additional funds allocated for a additional DJ, or if the board has a different direction that you all would like to see in regards to entertainment. Certainly, discretion.
DJ would be for Saturday night, or?
Yes, sir, Mr. Fowler.
What were those proposals?
The proposals, if I'm remembering correctly, were anywhere between $300 to $500 for a DJ that we were looking at, and then Heart to Heart, 5 to 7. It may have been 5, but I don't remember right on. I'm sorry.
So when is Heart to Heart coming?
They have submitted a proposal for Friday night if the board is agreeable to that.
David Kaiser and Heart to Heart, or is that?
Isn't-
That's the name of the group. It's a husband and wife, and then they got a lady singing with all night. And that vendor, I'm sorry, just off topic, that
Sure.
he's doing both nights?
Tony Tees will be here both nights, yes.
So, $1,200 good enough, cap, just to use some fluff. Or do you-
We can make 1,200 work if that's what you guys need.
So, are we having a group on Saturday? Are you planning a group then, or just the DJ?
However you guys would like to move forward, I can solicit a proposal for some other bands for Saturday night in lieu of the DJ, complimenting the DJ. Really would be at the preference of you all.
How much was the band in June?
That was 6,
Was it $650? I think it was $650. I think,
That'd be nice, wouldn't
do you remember the name of the band, Katie?
it? No.
Well, down there in Lowell, they have bands all the time,
Mhm.
but you may have a good contact list of groups. The Fridays in
Was it 650? It was Chase Kilo, I believe. This was on.
I can go look.
So like 1,200 cap on it?
It was 650.
It was $650. Yeah, well, it was $650 for the band in June.
Let's do if you're talking about a band, let's cap it at 1,500. And if you can't find a band and DJ, then we know you're not gonna spend all the money if you don't need to.
Sure.
I'll second that.
So we're setting a cap of $1,500 for the entertainment for the fall festival, and accepting the Heart to Heart proposal for Friday evening.
Yes.
Is that what we're doing?
I'll
Okay.
make it motion.
Okay, and then Saturday we're going to look at attempting to get a band, but if not, a DJ.
DJ.
Okay.
All right, we have a motion, second, all in favor? $1,500 cap.
Okay. And I know that Mr. Morton had indicated perhaps a recreation committee to discuss things further. Wade, do you see anything else that we need to discuss or that we need to go to committee?
Not really, just, we plan on having one next Tuesday night, 5:30 right here at Town Hall, you know.
Who's on with it, Mr. Morgan?
We ain't had one, the first one.
Oh, me.
So you're just getting interested parties together?
Yeah. But since we done got this figured out, I probably they usually be, you know.
I'd agree with you, Mr. Morton. I think everything's settled unless there's anything else. This should be what we need to move forward with everything. Just trying to get some more applications for vendors.
I just want to make one thing, when you had the Milltown nights, you had the beer out there, you didn't have a lot of people out there because of that certain fact, you know. You may have a good crowd Friday night, but I guarantee you Saturday, it won't be crowded. I'm just making that statement.
On the same subject of alcohol, with having beer on Saturday night, I know there had been discussions about a perimeter and whether we wanted to have it continued roped off as it was in May, or posting signs on Day, Park, and then Spencer, no alcohol past this point, to having just an open area and having the police department have somebody on standby to ensure there isn't any breach of those boundaries. Do you all have a preference on how you would like to move forward on the Saturday night for having a perimeter, or are we going to do a garden similar to last time, or more open space?
When I talked to Chief Lenzer, he expressed that he would prefer just an open perimeter, and it would be easier for them than to have to set somebody at the entrance and exit. So, an open.
My preference is open too.
I think that can be
When I
managed.
came down in at the last one, I got my beer, I was in the cab, I felt like I was just stuck in, I wanted to see the vendor during that time too, so I mean, everybody else probably felt the same way. I just preferred
Okay.
open.
Is there any disagreements with that course of action, consensus, or do we need a motion on that?
So you're saying that we can just have the beer walk around freely throughout the whole festival?
And
On
Chief
Saturday.
Lunsford said, well, his opinion, that would be just as easy to manage.
He said that it would be easier.
I know the Bessemer City and Stanley Festival, they had roped off
Roped
areas
off areas.
for alcohol. I mean, it wasn't like a small area like what we had over toward the band.
As long as you can partake in the festival, I'd be fine. But that little spot wasn't, I mean, that's, feel like you're in jail. Yeah.
On exhibit.
You know, yeah, it'd be a big start of a.
Okay.
Okay. Just to recap to ensure I have everything correctly, for the festival, the board has agreed that on Friday night we are going to have heart-to-heart at the festival. We have approved a $1,500 budget for both nights for heart-to-heart fee to come out of. For Saturday night, we have approved to have beer with the perimeters of being on the ball field, with the boundaries being Day Avenue, Park Drive, Spencer Mountain Road, with the police department ensuring that that boundary is intact. And we are going to attempt to either get a band of some sort or have a DJ for Saturday night. Is that correct?
That's great.
I believe that is all I have in regards to old business under continued recreation discussion, Mr. Mayor.
All right, item 6, young bull representative's not here due to COVID. So item 7, budget amendments.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. You have before you the final 2022 fiscal year 22 budget amendments. The auditor will be here in 2 weeks. This tidies up, cleans up any invoices that came July, August for services that were rendered in May, June. So with this, I believe, Ms. Rowland, this will close out the fiscal year 22 budget in order to have Mr. Carrick start his auditing procedures first full week in September.
All right.
I make a motion we approve the budget amendments as presented.
I'll second that.
All right, have a second. All in favor? Next item on the agenda is report on the letters of interest for the vacant Board of Commissioners seat.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. At the July meeting, with the acceptance of Mr. Hayes' letter of resignation, the board authorized a procedure to appoint his successor. The board agreed to open up letters of interest until August, I believe it was August 11th, 5 p.m. As of the 5 p.m. deadline on the 11th, we had 6 candidates who were interested in the position. I believe you all have had a chance to review those letters, those names. At this point, it would be at the mayor and board's discretion on how to proceed with the process.
I would recommend tonight the board to accept Effie Locklear onto our board. Individual that has the most experience of all the letters that we got, and her interest in coming back and fulfilling Trevor Hayes' position until he runs out his 3.5 years. She would be an asset to our town. She would step in with knowledge of how the town functions, especially our recreation. There seems like there's a hole in that area since she left the board, and I would strongly recommend accepting her back on the board. Open for discussion.
I would recommend, for experience purposes, that we consider Robin Connor. She's got experience, she's been on here too.
She has less experience than Effie.
Is that a motion, Mr. Fowle?
I'll make that motion. No one's got any discussion.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second for Ms. Connor for the vacant seat of Trevor Hay.
All in favor? All opposed?
We have a tie. That will be on you, Mr. Mayor.
All opposed?
Opposed?
Yes.
I make a motion we put Diane Palmer on a fresh face to the board. Somebody that's been here at every planning board meeting, every camp meeting. I believe that somebody fresh, a new start would be a good thing for the town Ranlo.
That's a motion for Diana Palmer. Mr. Moore?
Yes, sir.
Do we have a second? We have a second. All in favor? All opposed?
Again to you, Mr. Mayor.
I would oppose.
Opposed?
I will say that my only concern with Ms. Palmer is that, at a time when we're running short on people willing to volunteer for the planning board, I have a lot of hesitation about pulling anybody off the planning board.
I think the board of commissioners are way more important than the planning board.
I mean, that may be true, but we also need the planning board.
All right, anybody else have a suggestion? If not, we'll table it to another meeting.
So either another motion for one of the candidates, motion to reconsider Ms. Locklear, Ms. Connor, or Ms. Palmer, or as the mayor said, we can take.
You know, since we're discussing individuals right now, I think we need to go in closed session on this stuff, you know, for those of us.
Unfortunately, with vacancies on the board, there is not the option to go into closed session. Mr. Morton, do you have any ideas or suggestions on the matter?
I think that all the ones put in, I think they shown interest in it, I mean, you know, for the board, you know, the vacancy, I mean, they wouldn't put their name in if they wasn't interested in serving, you know. Serving on the board, I mean, you know.
Do you have a motion for a candidate, Mr. Morton? Or to reconsider any of the candidates?
I mean, if you want a fresh face, I mean, you know, you can, well.
Okay, we'll table this till the next meeting. At this point, next item, public hearing for citizen input to order or to adopt an outreach plan to establish verifiable percentage goals of participation in minority businesses in the awarding of building construction contracts pursuant NCGS 143-128.2. What's that?
So this one,
You got some information on that?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. I would ask that the board opens the public hearing to discuss our public outreach plan and our verifiable percentage goals in order to move forward with some of our grants.
All right, we have a motion.
I'll make a motion.
I have a second.
I'll second.
All in favor? Public hearing is now open. Anybody want to address the board concerning
what we have before us tonight is a requirement for some of the grant funding that we're receiving under the State Capital Improvement Fund. In order to move forward with these projects, specifically with the renovations to the lodge, we have to adopt a minority business participation plan for historically underutilized businesses. Before you tonight, there is a resolution adopting a plan with a 10% verifiable goal for projects moving forward. This is a requirement from the state in order to move forward with the construction contracts in the amount of $100,000 or more with state funds being received, or $300,000 or more with taxpayers' dollars at use. So. Be glad to answer any questions. If not, we can close the public hearing and move forward with the recommendation on the adoption.
Okay, I have a motion. Close the public hearing.
I'll make that motion.
Have a second. All in favor to close the public hearing? Public hearing is now closed. All right. So we need to move forward on the adoption. I have a motion. Motion to adopt. I have a motion. I have a second.
I'll second.
I have a second. All in favor? It's okay. Next item on the agenda is consideration of bid package for general renovations for the Ranlo Lodge.
Sure. Before you tonight, Mr. Mayor, we have a formal bid packet to solicit renovations to the Ranlo Lodge. This is in conjunction with the engineering reports that we submitted to the state in order to receive funding for the renovations. This provides for the bid advertisement to start this weekend, running in the Gaston Gazette twice, a virtual pre-bid meeting next week with any contractors, any engineers who are interested in bidding the project. It's going to be twofold. One for the actual renovations to the building itself, and then second for the HVAC units there. These bid packets have been reviewed by our engineers. We've worked on these the past month. These would, like I said, begin this weekend, and we would have the bids on the docket for the September 8th to move forward with approval. So I would ask for a motion to approve the bid packets for the general renovations to Ranlo Lodge.
Do we have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion. Second?
Second.
All in favor? So carried. Next item on the agenda is appointments to the Ranlo Board of Adjustments and extension of terms to the Planning Board. Motion number 6.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. With the adoption of our recently adopted revised Unified Developmental Ordinance and Land Usage Plan, it provided for a new makeup for our Planning Board and Board of Adjustments. Currently, the Planning Board also serves as the Board of Adjustments. The new ordinance split that, and the new North Carolina General Statute 160D requires those to be separately. This reaffirms, adjusts some of the terms on there. There are no members that have been added. There's one vacant seat on the Planning Board that requires a resident from in-town, and one vacant seat on the Planning Board for an ETJ resident. So there are 2 vacant seats there, and then the appointments to the Board of Adjustments are currently our seated Planning Board member. They act in 2 different capacities depending on whether the issue is quasi-judicial or depending on what the matter before the board would be. So there are no new additions to either the Planning Board or the Board of Adjustment. It's just a ratification of these individuals for the specified terms.
I'll make the motion to ratify.
Motion to ratify. We have a second.
Second.
I have a second. All in favor? No, so carried. All right, next item on the agenda is our business town manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a few things that I have for the board and public tonight. We will be closed in observation of Labor Day on September 5th. The garbage will be 1 day behind. Bids for Boulder Court continue to be advertised. They're going to go over the next few weeks and hopefully receive promising news with moving forward with that. Since we last met, we've been fortunate enough to receive the formal award letter for $300,000 in asset inventory assessment grants, $150,000 for water, $150,000 for sewer. This is a major win for the town. We've applied for these grants 3 times and have not been successful with any competitive grants since I started here in March of 2020. So this is something we started actually when I first arrived working on this bid packet. So I'm very pleased to see that the state did approve both of those grant applications for us. We're going to be moving forward with request for qualifications for engineers on that project within the upcoming days. Since we've met, the Ranlo Police Department did a sensational job with our National Night Out. Certainly thank everyone that came out for that event. Certainly appreciate the hard work of the police department, fire department, public works for coming out and making that a huge success. We were in direct competition with a lot of other municipalities, but we had a great turnout, and certainly thank you to you all that showed up for that event. And also, as we alluded to earlier, sadly, since we last met, Mr. Randy Thomason passed away. So we certainly wanted to recognize his contribution to the town, to the fire department, and certainly all that he's done for everyone here. I believe that's all I have is in regards to a formal report. I did want to let the board know that I was considering going to the City Managers Conference in September. I plan to utilize some of the funds that were in employee training, unless there was any objection to that. Other than that, I believe that's all I have for the board tonight.
All right, thank you very much. Information from the MPO concerning the North Carolina 150 widening is now scheduled for delivery. Also, the Cox Road selective widening is now scheduled for delivery. And up in Lincoln, Mecklenburg, North Carolina 73 widening is now scheduled for delivery. Another thing is, I've got several people that's requesting sidewalks, so we're going to go forward with a sidewalk revamp of the streets.
Yeah, we are. Wooten, yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. The Wooten Company's been on site really the better part of the last 6 weeks surveying our sidewalks, surveying sidewalk projects. I hope to have all that in the big package in the next 60 to 90 days to move forward, but they've been working very hard on that and ensuring that we have the appropriate easements, the appropriate encroachments in order to be able to renovate sidewalks through here. A lot of that's going to be tied to the water line rehabilitation with the $2 million we're getting out of Washington, and then the approximate $3.5 million that we're getting out of the state. So with the new water line rehabilitation, we certainly don't want to put new sidewalks over dilapidated lines. So those two would go hand in hand. Certainly, I mean, worst case scenario, within the next year, we'll see major improvements with that.
So we also continued as the summer draws out, grass grows, and we have several yards in the town that is really high. And are we still working on that?
We are. We have. I don't have the exact number. I believe I sent out the report a few weeks ago. A couple of dozen open cases, several that have been abated. We dealt with a couple of properties this week when Alliance was on the scene. I certainly would encourage anyone, if they have an issue or complaint, reach out to me, reach out to Alliance. We can forward the complaints. But there are numerous cases that are outstanding. Many times we'll send a letter, a few days it'll get abated, and then a month or so we have to send another one. We've had great success, but Commissioner Morton and I were talking about an issue just today that we're working on in regards to growth.
Do we have the information to get in touch with Alliance for reporting on the website?
If not, I can certainly add it on there. I don't believe it's on the website. I know we shared it on the Facebook page, but I'll make sure that we get that onto the website. That won't be a problem at all.
I have a report.
Okay. One more.
Sure.
The old bank is looking awful. I mean, that's our main intersection in the town. I mean, this growed up weeds everywhere. The grass is not being cut. And also the building that we sold across the street, I think we used to maintain the grass there, and I noticed it's growing up. You know, everybody sees that intersection.
Sure.
You know,
Sure.
We have a lot of traffic. I had a guy one time. He told me, he said, I went through your town the other day, and I was impressed with how clean your streets are, and how much work you've done on the streets. I said, oh yeah. He said, hey, aren't you the mayor of Louisville? And I said, no, I'm the mayor of Ranlo. So that was sort of embarrassing, but yeah, I would like to see Alliance sort of get a hold of those folks and maybe get that cleaned up out there.
Yes.
Make it look as good as it possibly can. I mean,
With the bank, I had conversations with the abutting business owner not so long ago about issues there, and I forwarded that to Alliance. I've actually spoken to the person who's purchased the bank about the property, so we'll certainly follow up with the corner.
Go ahead, Karen.
So August 10th, the Central Iowa Regional Council had its Board of Delegates meeting, and they sent me this report to provide to all of you. I'm just going to summarize each item. I have a full report, and then I'll forward it on to you. They adopted their strategic plan. It's a 3-year plan, and it's going to help them grow and have fiscal stability. 2 communities joined Central Iowa, bringing the total membership to 62 governments. They have requested that all the rest of the towns that have not done so yet ratify their updated charter, which we did in July.
We did, just me.
So we're good on that count. They're expanding their service offerings to code enforcement, planning, and grant writing services. And they have relocated as of July 1st to David Taylor Drive in Charlotte. That's it.
Steady. Did you get on it?
I did actually. What the mayor's talking about, there was in the NPO, there's a study that they're doing to see how people drive and how it's affecting the tax base, based on your gas cars or your electric, your EVs. And there's a study now you can get on. I just don't have the website available, so if I can get it for you. But if you want to participate, you can get on there, put your name in. They're looking for so many people in the county, the Tri-County area, to test this. And,
Selected officials.
well, elected officials, they are wanting other residents as well. And really, when I signed up, it took 5 minutes, 2 or 3 days. I had my little thing to plug it in, 3 months, and then send it back.
I don't want to know the speed.
So what they're trying to do is go to taxing you by the miles that you travel instead of a base gas tax. It was interesting.
So rather than taxing the fuel that you buy?
Right, yeah. Because they're losing, they have the number of how much money the state's actually losing based on the more popularity of the EVs.
So it's to
Yeah.
decrease the burden on the people who drive the most, or who use the most gas?
No, it's an incentive to tax everyone who's using the road basically by miles driven, instead of having a gas tax.
It's just a study. We don't know if it'll fly. It was interesting. Okay. All minds clear. Doug, you got anything? Wait.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Doug makes a motion to adjourn. We have a second to that. We have a second. All in favor to adjourn?
Thank you, guys. See you in September.
Let's go home. It's home have coffee now.
No, it's too late for coffee, Mr. Mayor.
I think I can answer.
You did.
It was pretty quick, wasn't it? Pretty quickly.
Pretty quickly, Matthew. Let's end all this.